Hey everyone, Jamie here with Sweet Pickins. Welcome to my home. I'm so glad you're here. So we are gonna do a really fun DIY today that is going to be the best project for gifts and gift giving. Mother's Day's coming, Easter's coming, and this is just a fun way to give such a unique, thoughtful gift. Doesn't cost you a lot of money and you can make it as unique as possible. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna show you guys everything that you're gonna need and then we'll jump into the actual project. So you guys are gonna need to go pick out some really fun napkins. Just pick out the napkins that really speak to you and that you love. I wanted to pick out some napkins that were springy, summery, feminine, playful, and so these have butterflies on them and then just flowers, and they're kind of a neutral palette. So these are so perfect for what I needed. However, if there's something that you want to do toile or you want to do brighter colors, absolutely, just go find napkins. Napkins are everywhere. Just find a napkin that speaks to you and purchase a pack of it. All right, the next thing that you're gonna need is air dry clay. So I have already used this. This is how I store it. The best way to store air dry clay, because you're not gonna use this. This is massive. This is 2.2 pounds. I have used this for several projects and I still have almost all of it. I store it in a Ziploc bag. I put it in, it's open, and then I just roll it to get all the air out, and it's just perfect. So air dry clay is what you guys are gonna need. Then you're gonna need a rolling pin, a surface to roll on. You're gonna need your good old trusty Mod Podge, a sponge brush, or you could use a paintbrush if you want. So the other thing that you're gonna need, and this is gonna be unique to everybody, you're gonna need a small dish. So this is just a ceramic dish that we use in the kitchen. You're gonna need a small dish. So whatever size you want it to be, you're gonna see, depending on the size bowl you pick is what your project ends up being that size. So I'll show you guys what I'm doing, and then that'll determine if you want to use like a ramekin, a tiny little ramekin, or if you want to use a small bowl. I love the small bowl. I feel like the ramekin can be too tiny. However, if you can find a really cool shape ramekin, I think you could absolutely make it work. I have my scissors here, and then I did grab, you're gonna need a sanding block. I have my gator here, sanding block, piece of sandpaper, and then I did grab my ink and my stamper here to do a little distressing. That's totally optional. Remember, on other videos you see me using paint, so that is just totally optional. So let's get started. So I'm gonna start making what we're gonna do, and then you're gonna see it form, and then I'll show you an example. So let's get started. So what you're gonna do is just grab a big old hunk of clay. Now this is hardy. I mean, it is thick, it's heavy. So I just like to grab a little bit, off the top, just keep adding to this. And it doesn't matter if you get too much, it's okay. You can always put some back. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna take your air dry clay, and you're gonna want to make sure this is air dry clay. Obviously, you don't want any kind of ceramic unless you have a kiln, and most of us don't have kilns. And you don't want it to be modeling clay. You want it to be air dry modeling clay is sometimes how it is. So what I like to do is just warm it up in my hands, squeezing it, pushing on it, moving it, just to warm it up, kind of get it all together, just get it into a ball, because that's really gonna help you in the long run. So, once you get it in a ball, why don't you just flatten it out with your hand, just a little bit, okay? Set it down on your surface. I do have actually a cutting board right here, and I just didn't want to deal with it putting it on my surface, but my surface is a totally flat surface, so I just thought this was easier to clean up. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna be rolling out making sugar cookies. And what I say making sugar cookies is, when you make sugar cookies, you roll, you turn your rolling pin, you roll again, you might turn your dough, same exact thing. We are not making sugar cookies here. We're not even making faux sugar cookies here. But just think of it that way, where you could just kind of go back and forth. You want to make sure it's an even consistency. It's however thick you want yours. You don't want it to be paper thin, but you don't want it to be big and thick and chunky. So I just like to go back and forth. Make sure that middle, if you're not careful, the middle will be thicker than the rest, and you really don't want that. So kind of go back and forth. Okay, easy, simple, that quick, guys, that quick. Oh shoot, there was one more thing that I forgot to grab. It's right here. So you're gonna need, you can use your bowl for this. I'm using a mason jar ring. This is the lid, but it's not the insert part, it's just the ring. So I forgot about that one. So whatever size you want, but you could use your bowl and use this as your template. So whatever you want to use, I like to use the ring. So I'm gonna take this ring and I'm gonna place it right in the middle, and I'm gonna push it down and turn it until it actually turns. The clay here, the air dry clay is not moving, just my round is. Okay, so then we'll take this off and we are done with this. So the thing is, guys, is you're gonna want to make sure you put this right back in, push it down in, and then put it immediately back into your baggie, because this clay dries out so fast. So what I like to do is put it in, and I close most of it except for the very end. And then I just get all the air out, and then I seal it, and I make sure to seal tight. This will last you. If not, man, 2 days, it's gonna be hard as a rock and a waste of $8, $10. That is right around $8. I've seen it as expensive as $10. I bought mine for $8. So just take care of it. So you can see, perfectly round. Now, gosh, guys, there's so much we could do. I look at this and go, ooh, an ornament. So we'll make some of these at Christmas time for ornaments. So this is just a flat disc, okay? Flat disc, that's all it is. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna take whatever bowl you've chosen, you're gonna put it upside down. Then you're gonna take your clay, the top, this is the top that we're rolling out, this is the bottom. The bottom is actually textured because my cutting board here is textured. So we're gonna take the top and lay it down right here and form it around our bowl. And then you can recreate and make a cute little jewelry bowl. However, that is one way to do it. I don't do it that way, but you can mold it on the bowl, let it sit for 2 days and leave it. I don't do it that way because what will happen at the end is then you have to try to get the Mod Podge in all the corners and all the rounds. So I like to actually do the Mod Podge first. So I'm going to show you my technique, but I did want to show you the option of doing it the other way. So you are going to take your napkin here. Napkins have plies. So look on the paper and see, you know, there's usually a paper on the napkin package, and it will tell you how many plies. I have already done this, so I know this is 3 plies. It's 2 white plies, and then it's the color is a ply. So you are gonna wanna get both of those plies off. Sometimes they come in one swoop, sometimes you have to do them twice. Save this, you can print on this. I always tell you guys can print on this. So we got 1 ply off. I like to take the corner and I like to just take my nail and separate it from the top. So here comes the 2nd ply. Save this, we'll print on it. Okay, so here we have just one thin see-through one. Okay, we are gonna these are small napkins. So if you have a bigger one, it's gonna measure out a little differently. We are gonna just use 1 square right here. So let's just cut a square, and then we'll save the rest for another project. Okay, so we just have this little square. So now what you're gonna do is you're gonna take your Mod Podge, any kind of Mod Podge. Remember, if you don't have any Mod Podge, you can make it. It's 50% school glue, 50% water. Mix it really well. Put it in a container that is airtight, such as a mason jar. Okay, so we're gonna, again, like I always say, we're gonna put an even coat on. Not too thick, not too thin. And the reason why I say that is because you don't want it to glob. And sometimes if you put too much Mod Podge on, it actually will rip your tissue paper when you're starting or trying to work with it. When you're starting to kind of, you know, rub it and get it all down in there, sometimes it will rip. So we definitely don't want that. Okay, so thin coat, make sure all your sides, they're round in this case, but make sure they all have it. Go over it one more time. And you're done with the Mod Podge for now. So take your napkin, do the printed side as you're looking at it facing up. The back will be the back of the napkin. Now you're gonna look and see exactly where you want your image. So my image here has a butterfly and some flowers. So I really want the butterfly to be a focal point. So we are going to lay it down, move it where you want. Once you have it where you want, lightly take your finger and just rub it lightly. You don't want to distort the air dry clay, and you don't want to rip the napkin. So just go back and forth, get out all the bubbles. It may be textured, maybe a little wrinkled, doesn't matter. You're not going to really even see that at the end. Just make sure it's all smooth. Then, like I've said in other videos, is make sure the corners, the sides, it's all down in. Because if not, it'll cause you problems. Okay, so that is all done. Now, what you're gonna do is you're gonna carefully pick it up, and then you're gonna smooth out any edges you need to. So now we've got the clay, the Mod Podge. So the way I do it, I take my bowl, I take my image, lay it upside down so it is facing the bowl. And I really try to get it in the middle, and then I gently push down to mold to the bowl. The good thing is by doing this, you can still manipulate it. If one side is a little off, you can kind of manipulate it as you're watching this, you know, as you're kind of seeing what you're doing. So you're just going to take your hand and just kind of cup it, move it, mold it. Okay, so let me show you guys. So this is what it looks like. So now this is going to sit for 3 days. 3 days. Don't pull it off before 3 days. However, what you are going to want to do, especially the first day, just go over, take your hand, kind of go back and forth like this, get it sit down in. You're going to want to make sure this is flat up here, and it naturally just goes flat, but just make sure you do that. Okay, I just literally like to cup it like I'm going to grab it. Gentle, you don't want to distort the clay, okay? And you're literally going to set this aside for 3 days. After 3 days, this is what you're going to get. You're going to get a bowl. So I'm going to show you guys a little closer. So this has been 3 days, and I have got the napkin still kind of all over the place. So what we're going to do, this is going to be a few little steps. You're going to take your sander, and you're going to be very careful. Lift up, go down, lift up, go down, lift up, go down. So that's what you're going to do. And you're going to be very, very gentle hands with this. So it may take a minute or two. So you're just going to go around and get all that excess off, and make the sides of the bowls really smooth, because as you're taking this off, it is going to make it really, really, really smooth. Georgie, no George, that's George. He's away. He got put away because he's driving the girls, the little weenie dogs are in heat, and so um, Georgie, no. And then you can hear my German Shepherds. They want to go outside and play, and I told them right after my video. So anyway, here is this. So you may have to go a little bit around, just double check any parts that you need to. Okay, so now what you're gonna do is you are gonna make sure, I'm just gonna use this because I didn't grab a paper towel. Get all the dust and dirt out of this. Now you're gonna take your Mod Podge. So we're skipping, this is 3 days old. This that we just did has to sit for 3 days, and then you're gonna be at this step. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna take your Mod Podge and you're gonna Mod Podge this, not goopy, but a little heavy-handed. You're gonna wanna make sure you get in all the corners, all the crevices, and the lip right here, up on the sides. You're gonna make sure that lip is all covered because you don't want that tissue to peel up. So I just like to just go around, make sure everything is done, and now it's all Mod Podge. Let me come around and show you guys. So you can see the design in here, and you can see them, it's all murky like this because this is Mod Podge, and that's what it does. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna now let this dry for a full 24 hours. And once it's done drying, then you can decide if you want to paint the back. The back is a beautiful, really linen looking white. So in most cases, it doesn't need to be painted. However, if you have maybe a really distinct color and you really want it to match your napkin, then go ahead and paint this. Paint this as your last step. So for me, I'm not gonna want this painted, but look, I'm gonna show you guys. It's gonna sit like this. It's perfectly round, and now it's a little jewelry holder. You could put your rings in it when you are, doing dishes or at the end of the night. You could keep it downstairs by your kitchen. You could keep it upstairs in your bathroom or your powder room or where you put on your makeup. This is such a really fun, easy, inexpensive gift. And, if you really want, you can take a marker and actually write on this. Write on it a special little note on the bottom. And because we really cared about this and we kind of worked on it, we made sure, like hitting down on this, that it's got a flat bottom. And as it has a flat bottom, then we're able, so you can see that flat bottom there. It will sit perfectly on a counter. So this is what it's gonna look like. So as soon as it's done with the Mod Podge, I'll probably just take the sander one more time around just to smooth it totally down, and then it's done because I don't want to paint the back of this. And I'm gonna make some of these to give away as just little gifts, just to say thank you, and thank you for being who you are, and just thank you. So this is just a really fun DIY that you guys can do. Cost pennies. This package of our clay here, our air dry clay, 2.2 pounds. It's huge, it's heavy. And you know what? Gosh, you know how many of these bowls, if you just were making bowls, I bet you would probably get 40 out of this one. So, there's just so many options. And, think of the seasons. This is really fun. You could even, if you wanted to, take this and do a Christmas napkin in here, fill it with Hershey Kisses, put it in a cute little cellophane bag with some ribbon and a tag, and give this as little favors at Christmas time or to your neighbors or whatever. And it's just so thoughtful. So guys, I am so excited for these. I think you guys are really, really gonna love these. So as this one is gonna dry for the next 3 days, as it comes out, again, I'm gonna do the same process as I did here, just a little Mod Podge, let it sit for 24 hours. Take my little sanding block, go over it, and it's done. It's just that easy. So thank you guys so much for joining me. We appreciate you guys so much. Don't forget, we have a website. shopsweetpickens.com. We also have a brick and mortar here in Sparks you can shop at. We are inside Painted Tree. Back left corner, we have a big chandelier and country music playing, so definitely stop there. When you go to the website, all the information's on there. Also, you can follow us on Instagram and Facebook. Type in Sweet Pickens, Pickins, Reno, and the page will come up with the little teal logo with the flowers, and you will see us there. So we'd love it if you would like this video and subscribe to our channel. I'm trying to push out a lot of content for you guys, just so we could keep creating and just making our homes just feel nice and cozy and just you know, a representation of who we are. So so I'd love it if you guys would just hang out for all that. So thank you guys so much. I hope you have a wonderful day, and we'll see you again on the next video.